Welcome to this week's episode of Pindrop Perspectives. On this podcast, we're taking a look at the script for a short thriller called The Last Ride. Let's get right into it. Over to you, Jen.
Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we are going to be taking a look at a short film screenplay called The Last Ride. And this one was sent in by, looks like Eugene Mont and Thomas Muller of Pindrop Entertainment.
Got it.
So it looks like they were the ones that put this together. And what we are going to be doing is taking a look at their script.
Okay.
And going through it in detail, kind of analyzing the different parts, the characters, the plot, the arcs and the themes and kind of the social commentary and the narrative techniques that they've employed.
Okay.
So kind of a lot to cover.
Yeah, sounds good.
But yeah, we'll jump right in.
Yeah, let's do it.
The story itself starts out in the Finger Lakes region of New York.
Okay.
And introduces us to Lonnie, who seems to be your kind of average, everyday ride-sharing app driver.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what stood out to me right away when I was reading through this, was how normal it all seemed at the beginning.
Right.
You're just thrown right into this scenario that feels very familiar. You know, the Finger Lakes, the ride-sharing aspect of it, it's all very normal and kind of, every day.
Yeah.
But then you have Lonnie, and he's smiling at his phone.
Yeah.
He seems like an ordinary guy.
Right.
And it just feels like it's, setting you up for something.
Yeah.
That's about to happen.
Totally. It's like the calm before the storm.
Exactly. Yeah.
So speaking of Lonnie, let's take a closer look at him right at the start.
Okay.
We see him trying to make conversation with his passenger, Daisy. He's got this kind of almost overly friendly, well, hello to you too, that he uses. And he's, kind of pushing to like lighten the mood with her.
Right.
What did you think about that initial approach of his?
Well, I mean, it feels very calculated, doesn't it? It's like he's rehearsed this, like it's a routine that he's used before.
Right.
That he's kind of putting on a persona, trying to make people feel at ease. But you get the sense that maybe it's serving another purpose as well.
Yeah. Seems a little too polished almost. Like
right.
Rehearsed.
Too smooth.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like he's done this before. Right. Like he's trying to gauge reactions or something.
Yeah. And then on the other side of that, you have Daisy.
Yeah.
She's just all business. She's focused on her phone. She doesn't want to chat.
Right.
She just wants to get to Geneva Town Hall.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She's very direct. I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
She's not swayed by, just pleasantries and stuff.
Right.
And I think that becomes important later on.
Yeah. That's a good point. Her personality definitely plays a big role as the story unfolds.
Definitely.
So we have that initial awkwardness between them, and then we get these early hints that something's off.
Okay.
There's that moment when Lonnie throws this stone-cold glare in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
After Daisy kind of rejects his attempts at conversation.
Right.
But then he immediately masks it with this fake smile.
Yeah, that was creepy.
Yeah, that was a little unsettling, right?
Like that quick switch. It's like, whoa, what was that?
Yeah, it's like a glimpse behind the mask, you know?
Yeah. You see the real him for a second.
And it makes you wonder what's lurking beneath the surface.
Definitely. It's like foreshadowing.
Yeah, for sure.
It's hinting at what's to come.
Exactly. So the ride continues and the whole atmosphere starts to shift.
Okay.
It goes from that kind of awkward small talk to a more serious tone. Lonnie starts asking these probing questions about Daisy's background.
Yeah.
And then he throws in these stories about his own time as a driver.
Right. What did you think about that part?
Well, it's interesting because on the surface, it seems like he's just trying to connect with her.
Yeah.
Find some common ground. But there's also this underlying sense that he's sizing her up.
Yeah, like he's gathering information about her.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's trying to figure out what makes her tick.
Right.
And even that story about his time in Alabama and the weather, it feels like a way to test her reactions.
Right. Like, is she empathetic? Is she going to respond to that?
Yeah.
Is she going to show any kind of emotion?
Totally. And then Daisy throws in this line about how people are often fake.
Yeah.
And how she prefers the company of her dogs.
Right.
And it's a small comment, but it feels loaded with meaning.
It does, yeah. It's like she's giving us a window into her worldview.
Right.
It's like she doesn't trust people.
Yeah, like she's been hurt before.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, like she's seen some things.
And then she follows that up with another cryptic remark.
Oh, yeah.
Not to be mean, Lonnie, I just don't care anymore. I've seen too many bad things.
Ooh, yeah, that's a heavy one.
Right. It just adds to the mystery surrounding her character.
Definitely. You're like, what bad things has she seen?
Exactly. What's her story?
Right.
So at this point, the tension is really starting to build. And then we get the introduction of the knife.
Oh, yeah.
Daisy finds it on the passenger floor.
Right.
And she's horrified.
That's a classic suspense builder right there.
Totally. It's like all of a sudden the stakes are raised.
Yeah, you know something's going to happen.
Right. And then Lonnie slams on the brakes.
Yeah.
And he gives this flimsy excuse about an animal running across the road.
Right, which is obviously a lie.
Yeah, it's so unconvincing.
It's so transparent.
Right. And it just confirms Daisy's suspicions.
Totally. And ours too, as the audience.
Exactly. We know something's up.
Yeah.
And then Daisy asks to be dropped off at a store. And Lonnie just hits her with this cold no.
Ooh, that's when it gets real.
Right. All pretense is dropped at that point.
Yeah, he's not even trying to hide it anymore.
Right. And then what's really disturbing is he tries to go back to that casual conversation.
Yeah, like nothing happened.
Right. He's asking her about memorable passengers he's had.
That's messed up.
It's so manipulative.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to lull her into a false sense of security.
Exactly. And it's really creepy.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Daisy pretends to panic about leaving her bag in her car.
Right.
And she forces them to go back.
Okay, so she's got a plan.
It seems like it, right? That she's trying to regain some control in this situation that's spiraling out of control.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And then we get to the big twist.
Okay.
They're outside Daisy's car. And Lonnie just completely transforms.
Yeah.
He goes from this charming facade to just cold and hardened.
Right.
It's a total shock.
It is, yeah. It's like a different person.
Right. And it makes you question everything you thought you knew about him.
Exactly. You're like, who is this guy?
And then to make matters worse, he's holding Daisy's phone.
Oh.
It's a total power move.
It is. Yeah. She's isolated now.
Right. She can't call for help.
No.
And then he orders her to get back in the car.
Oh, no.
And he's got the knife out.
This is terrifying.
Right. The tension is through the roof.
Yeah. You're like, what's going to happen?
And then Daisy does the unthinkable.
What's that?
She pulls out a gun.
Whoa.
Yeah. She's not the victim we thought she was.
No, she's not.
It's a complete reversal.
It is. Yeah. It's like she's been playing him this whole time.
Right. And now the power dynamic has completely shifted.
Yeah. He's the one in trouble now.
So the scene cuts to a barn.
Okay.
Lonnie's bound and gagged. He's totally helpless.
Wow. Talk about a turnaround.
Right? The hunter has become the hunted.
Exactly.
And Daisy is in control.
So what's her deal?
She's ice cold. She reveals that she knows Lonnie is the freewheel Skinner.
The who?
The freewheel Skinner. It's like his serial killer name.
Oh, wow. This is getting dark.
Right. And then she starts showing him pictures of his victims.
Oh, no.
Yeah. She names them Alice Miller, Antonin Gerstan, LaToya Jackson, Sasha Kolb, Corinne Platt.
This is intense.
And it goes on and on. There are so many pictures.
So she's been tracking him.
It seems like it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And she describes these horrific details about how he skinned their faces and removed their hair and fingernails.
That's brutal.
It's truly gruesome.
Yeah.
And the script emphasizes how many of the victims were unidentified for so long.
Right.
They had to rely on DNA to figure out who they were.
That's off.
It's really sad. It just highlights the dehumanizing nature of his crimes.
Yeah, he took away their identities.
Right.
It's like they were just objects to him.
And Daisy's motivation becomes clear at this point.
Okay.
She's been hunting Lonnie down to get justice for these women and their families.
Right.
And there's this one moment where she shows him a final picture. And she starts to cry.
Oh, wow.
It suggests that she has a personal connection to this case.
Yeah, like maybe she knew one of the victims.
It makes you wonder.
Right.
And then Daisy delivers this chilling final line.
What kind?
She uses Lonnie's own ride-sharing app to send a notification to his phone.
Okay.
It says, "Congratulations, Lonnie. You've completed your last ride."
Oh, wow. That's dark.
It's like poetic justice.
Yeah.
It is.
So let's talk about the character arcs for a minute.
Okay.
Lonnie starts out seeming affable and in control.
Right.
But by the end, he's completely powerless and exposed.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Right. His true nature is revealed.
And Daisy, yeah, she goes through a transformation too. She initially seems vulnerable and impatient.
Right.
But then we realize she's this determined and vengeful force.
Yeah, she's not playing around.
So how did the writers make this script so gripping?
Well, they use a lot of great techniques.
Like what?
Well, the suspense building is fantastic.
Yeah.
They use these subtle clues, and the tension just keeps escalating.
Right, like that cold glare we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
It's foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's hinting at the darkness to come.
And the dialogue is really effective, too.
It is, yeah. It reveals and conceals character at the same time.
Right, like Lonnie's fake charm.
Exactly.
It hides his true nature.
And Daisy's initial coldness, it masks her real purpose.
Yeah, and then there's the dramatic irony.
Oh, yeah.
We know something Lonnie doesn't.
Right.
We know who Daisy really is.
And that makes it so much more intense.
Exactly.
And then, of course, there's the twist.
Right, that moment when everything flips.
Yeah.
It's so unexpected.
It is, yeah, it completely subverts your expectations.
And it makes you rethink everything you thought you knew.
Totally.
So what about the themes?
Well, justice and revenge are obviously front and center.
Yeah.
But it also explores vulnerability and deception.
Right.
And the consequences of violence.
And the idea that appearances can be deceiving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never really know who you're dealing with.
And what about the social commentary?
Well, I think the initial setup definitely plays on our anxieties about ride sharing.
Yeah.
It makes you think about the potential dangers.
Right, it's like a worst case scenario.
Yeah, and it also comments on how easily we can misjudge people.
Yeah.
Based on first impressions.
Right. Both Lonnie and Daisy defy our initial assumptions.
Exactly.
So to wrap things up, The Last Ride is a really well-crafted script.
It is, yeah.
It's got great characters. It builds suspense masterfully.
Yeah.
And it delivers a truly shocking twist.
It's a wild ride.
It is, and it leaves you with a lot to think about.
Right.
So here's a final thought for everyone listening.
Okay.
How does your own perceptions of Lonnie and Daisy change as the story unfolded? And what does this story say about the nature of good and evil?
That's a good question.
Right. And how far would you go to seek justice? Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Yeah, this is a good one.
We'll see you next time.
See you.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive into The Last Ride. If you're interested in reading the script, you can reach out to Pindrop Entertainment for a copy. On next week's episode, Mark and Jen take a trip back to the Old West. Until then, remember, keep your perspective open. Artificial intelligence was used to assist in generating audio content for this episode.